All right, my friends, welcome to the dojo. And what do we got going on here? I gotta clean up a little bit. Must clean up a little bit. I don't know why. I'm such a boomer, dude. I don't know why. Oh, there it is, right there. There it is. Boom. Okay. I was about to complain why I don't know why. So this week I'm doing it a little bit differently. I did the under 1,000 players yesterday, and then the intention is to do the 1,000 plus today. The reason I'm doing it this way is we're getting more and more people, and sometimes I run out of time. I get to the high rated people and I'm like, you guys, I don't have enough time. I gotta go. So I wanted to mellow it out. Also my eyes, I can't take a million hours. Now, there is a small problem that maybe I could have missed some of these people. Like they could have come in, in the last little bit, you know? In the last 24 hours, because it's officially marked as being today. If we keep it this way on Wednesday under 1,000 and then Thursday over 1,000, I'm gonna have to set it so that Wednesday is the actual technical graduation date. So if you were watching and you are under 1,000 and you're on this list, but I don't see you because I did it all yesterday, then you gotta tell me. Okay, so I believe we looked at Miguel yesterday. Yeah, we looked at Miguel yesterday. That was a slight boo-boo because he's technically over 1,000. So we're gonna continue now with Maru, who has graduated multiple times. And, but Maru, he fell off, I guess maybe here, at 1578, probably technically made it and then bit it. Then bit it. Oh, that happens, dude. That happens. And Maru, oh, dude, he's down there with the USCF. So it's a hard road. Okay, well, let's take a look at the famous Maru. So far, no games played, or well, actually, there's games played, but it's kind of weird, actually, what's going on with Maru. It says he's graduated a bunch. Any clubs? No clubs. Games. We got loads of games. So he was in the 700 to 800 cohort, then jumped all the way up. I guess that's how it goes right there. It's a little confusing to me how this is. In any case, we're going to look at a game here from Dunphy. Let's see how we go. Hako's asking about the viewers. Oftentimes, it's chess.com. Oh, we looked at this, dude. Oh, no. No, we haven't looked at it. We looked at some other variation of this. Somebody played b5. To know the move b5, you got to be pretty highfalutin. Yeah, it's steaming. I got a nice cup of coffee here. Mike Zerker's asking about different ratings. 1650 could mean different things on different platforms, but if it says you should graduate, Bows. So bishop b3 doesn't make any sense because now you get knight a... Well, that's weird, actually. It's weird. Lots of questions. What are the most complicated positions ever? Now, why would we play knight a5 and not knight d4? That's my first little question. Oh, it's very complicated. Yeah, so knight a5 looks like a mistake. Boom. And now white could have played queen takes e5. Missed his chance. Good. Good. Poor. I had a creative knight move in my head, but that never would have worked. Lost my king pressure. So you got to tell us, Bows. What should you do? What should you do in this position? You're doing great. if I was just playing blitz chess, my first gut reaction would be b4, with the intention of not only keeping the pawn, but preventing this knight from whacking us. So it's kind of like that knight really wants to come out, and we're like, no, I really don't want you to come out. So that wasn't it. That happens. And I feel like I vaguely remember this game. Yeah, I remember this. We did look at this. Okay, so Maru has graduated. Congratulations. And I don't know what's going on quite with the different cohorts and stuff, because he says he's graduated a bunch of times, but then I don't know. I don't know. Anyways. Oh, the new FIDE. Can I graduate to 1500? Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. By the way, with FIDE, there's a lot of confusion out there for everybody, not just people in the dojo. But I think what's going to end up happening is, it used to be, for example, things like, let's just take the United States one, the USCF, used to be about 100 points below FIDE, sometimes 100, 150, something like that. Now with this mega inflation, especially around that 1,000 to 1,400 level zone, I think what's going to happen is that then FIDE and USCF will kind of be on a par, So we're probably in for an inflation across all of the dojo cohorts. I would say, though, it's not dumb to wait a little while. And I think I know, Magyar Zerker, that you haven't played that many FIDE games yet either. So that's just something to bear in mind. Okay. And the other reason I'm doing this show with 1,000 plus is at some point, a lot of people like Magyar Zerker are going to hit that graduate button. It's just going to be like an overwhelming amount of people. Okay, here we go. It's a great name, but I don't quite know how to say it. Americom. Jesse said that I'm in the wrong cohort, so although I wanted to do the work of 1,000, 1,100, I decided to graduate sooner. My Lichess classical rating is still high, and it is a pleasant surprise for me that I'm competitive in much higher rating ranges compared to rapid. The second principle of the training program, that going over your games is the best way to improve, is the key factor for my improvement. There you go. I could never imagine that I would ever spend 3 hours reviewing and annotating a game, but now I firmly believe the saying, you reap what you sow. Should my rating stay in that range, my plan is to move to 13, 14, but probably I will wait until the new rating conversion table of Dojo 3.0 and do the work of the previous cohorts in the meantime. Okay, let's take a look. 52? Nice, dude. Nice. I'm almost 52, man. I'm almost 52. So really great improvement in the last year. And, right, dude is way higher. Dude's way, way up there, man. He's way up there. So, a little bit hard to say. Now, there is a critical difference between Lichess and ChessCom, in that ChessCom you could play like 10-minute games and it counts as, there's no classical rating like there is in Lichess. So this might be pointing you to the fact that you're just playing better longer. Yeah, I encourage you to graduate again for sure. Okay, so activity. And we'll go back one. Right, that's definitely a good amount of work. And you're kind of flying up. And I think part of it is like your rating is so high and you haven't, your cohort hasn't caught up to you yet. So, yeah. So let's just click around a little bit. We got some mates in 2, good. This all looks great. Learn chess the right way, good. So, tactics, middle games, end games, good. Okay, that all looks great. And then let's take a look. Clubs. European Adult Improver. Nice. Okay. Let's look at a game here. So this looks like an online game. This is the longest game I played since I joined the dojo, 60 plus 20. Once again, was proven that the longer the time control, the better I play. Although I think that my Elite Chess Classical rating is inflated, it seems I'm competitive in that rating range. Opponent said the same thing. Okay, good. Let's go. Okay, fine. Fine. Now, what we should say is White is getting a little confused about where to put the pieces, but they are still technically developing, so no problem there. One cool philosophy of the perk is that the way you can think about it is like, forget theory and schmeary and all that stuff, but just say to yourself, which central square do I want to attack? Depending on how it goes, you can do more than, you can do more than one. So for example, I don't understand the move bishop e2. I don't understand how it meshes with queen d2. Bishop e2 would make sense to me if we're going to play knight f3 and castles. But if we're going to go for some kind of mating attack, then bishop e2 makes no sense. So knight bd7 can't be wrong, but I much prefer either knight c6, attacking this pawn, or maybe c6. And c6 you might be saying to me, Kraai, you tell me to develop all the time, and now you're telling me to play c6. But the point is, especially if they castle queenside, we want to throw b5 at them. And b5 creates a threat of b4 and then taking this pawn, plus creating an engine for us to start launching our pieces against the white king. I like knight c6 better, though, because I like development. In general, if we can, we would want to put the knight on c6 instead of d7. Oh, you could also say to me, Kraai, what about d5? I'm scared about d5. Well, here you've got a couple notions, the coolest of which is e5. That's a nice move. That's a nice move. And then we can either move the knight here or here if he moves the bishop. And if he goes this way, we're doing great. Trust me, we're doing great. We got activity and everything's going our way. Okay, so here we go. Knight f3, rook e8. Now, one of the things that's confusing for players at this level, well, at any level, is you're not actually threatening to play e5. So, for example, what happened here? e5, de, and the guy could have played, I think, knight e5. Because on knight e5, queen d8, rook d8, dude has bishop e5. All right? So that was a miss, and that's something very common tactic. If you want to play King's Indian structures or perk structures, that's a really important thing to know. Hi, Abdul. So in this case, we needed to criticize e5 and think about something else, maybe c6. Okay, so e5, doesn't see it. c6, good. Good move, very nice move, because like you said, getting this and also killing any knight d5 stuff. Okay, so black is clear. White's playing very ambitiously, huh? Queen v6. Okay. Queen b4. Yeah, and here I think you should play queen a5. Now, on a surface level, it might seem like, oh, encouraging the bishop to come back here, no bueno. But in fact, that knight g4 move could be a real thing for you, because we want to win this bishop if we can. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, but okay, here we are. King b1. Did you play knight g4? I like it. Yeah. Yeah. So, and the point is that's their good bishop. Okay, not a bad move. Boom. And then definitely queen e3 looks more sensible. f6, knight g5, giving you some interesting questions. Now, when you analyze rook f8, we gotta be at least a little concerned. Does this whack us, for example? Knight f7, rook f7, queen d8, takes, bishop f8. Now, it might not, and the reason it might not is because this piece is not active. If that piece were active, we would be totally toast. But I think it might, I'm just realizing now it probably does work. So, for example, rook f1, I'm threatening rook takes f6, king g7, now I'll take, and kaput. So I think you were probably forced to play bishop e6. Let's double check that. By the way, these are the variations to look at in your analysis. They'll teach you how to play good chess. Rook f1, exclam, right? And now we got real problems on our hands. No, Abdul, you're not going to give up chess, dude. You're not going to give up chess, buddy. Now, one of the things that's interesting as a question is like, everyone's minor pieces are pretty terrible here, right? Yeah, everyone's minors are poor. And one of my prediction will be the person who wins this game will be the one who fixes their minors. What do I mean? This knight, very little prospects. This bishop, very little prospects. I don't really understand that. Thank you very much. I don't know about queen e1. b5, and now he loses. Look at that. He should have played bishop a2 or bishop e3 because that bishop was doing something against the e6 pawn. But he's obsessed with h5. Okay, poor calculation. Correct. Notice we don't really even want to let that knight move. By the way, I don't know how bad it is. b4. It might not be so bad. And again, if you don't like it, tell us what you should have done. Okay, boss, you had knight takes e4 here, though, and you're threatening knight d2 check. So c5, boom, boom. This doesn't make any sense to me. There you have it. All right, so now we got ourselves an endgame. One thing that would be cool is if we just noted to ourselves, hey, we have bishops of opposite color here. It's important to understand the position. All right, rook d1, knight e4. Okay, I like it. Could have also considered e4. He's a traitor. Good. Good. It's hot. Okay, I like your analysis. Yeah, interesting position. White probably seen my plan of bishop f2 to hit the h and g pawns. Okay. Now, one thing we should say about this position is that bishop f2, you should have h5. The thing that white needs to do is bring his king in, right? So the default move, I don't know if it, the thing he should ask himself is, does c3 work to bring the king in? So just in the same way, like unexperienced players won't bring their pieces in, they won't bring their king in the endgame. And then to notice that on bishop f2, I believe you just play h5, right? Yeah. Okay, so knight d3 looks like a waste of time here. In general, the the raw bishops of opposite color without any nothing on the side is going to be a draw. So maybe a way to play for a win in this position would be to try to play h5 first to fix this pawn here. Because if we win him, then we have some juice. So, and then the way they should draw this is here, 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 and this is no problemito. He just needs to, realize he's got to bring his king out. h5, I like it. Okay. Good. Now you have a nice ending. Now you definitely have a nice ending. He finally starts doing something, Bows. Oh, there we go. Chess is an easy game. Yeah, there it is. Good job. Yeah, that was good, man. That was good. And, you're progressing. You're progressing really well. Let's look at the times. Was this a dojo event? I think so. Oh, it doesn't say. One of the cool things, I say this all the time, is when you play online, generally they won't use their time that well. Here being kind of no exception. White needs to think early on the plans, and they really kind of mixed it all up. And they didn't, let's say how long they thought on move 10, for example. Oh, they thought actually forever on move 10. I thought it was 7 minutes. I could have taken on e5 Bows. Okay, so let's go back, and now I'm going to do it correctly here. And by correctly means I'm going to try to keep myself on this page and then just click on a person. I'll right click. So this is Barnstorm. Playing and analyzing longer time controls, the opportunity to play in Dojo Classical and Dojo Liga have been very helpful. Looks like a lot of work here. Let's take a look. This is Barnstorm. Let's follow Barnstorm. It's got a USCF of 1117. Really nice. Okay. Or excuse me, 1167, normalized 1117. And like I said, once we do the translations, it's not just FIDE that will go up, but because we're basing things on FIDE, USCF will probably also go up. An inflating tide, inflating all boats kind of thing. Yeah. Okay. It's good to see that these ratings are, when we normalize them, are roughly the same. Also, I really encourage people to use their over-the-board rating, especially once they get past 1,000. All right, let's go look. Barnstorm did a lot. Dude, he did a lot. Let's go back. So, 120 points. He got a lot of points for only 23 hours. That was kind of amazing. Wait a second. But here he's did 172 hours. So a little bit confusing because he just got here to 1,200. But still, a lot of nice work. Maybe this is where I should click around a little bit. Good. Good. Also looking pretty good. Okay, let's take a look at some clubs. No clubs yet. No games, Barnstorm, buddy. Oh, no. It says you did some games, Bows. It said you did some games. Yeah, I'll give him a let's go over here. All right. So, Barnstorm, put in some games, buddy. Put in some games. All boats under 2K, that's right. All right, so now I'm doing it correctly. We got Charlie Rudy next. The most helpful for me, 1, actually having a study plan and sticking to it. 2, studying my games, especially the losses. Slowing down and playing longer games while not multitasking. There you go. Understanding that I'm not going to get better from just reading. Very correct. Okay, he's trusting the program. So, for the last 22 years, just west of Chicago, I've played chess for most of my life. 59 years. All the last 8, I devoted myself to just playing Go. Back to chess again. Have you heard my racist joke about Go? All the pieces look the same. Oh, what a great joke. That's actually, I haven't created many jokes in my life, but that is probably my winner. Do you know? That's my winner right there. Would like to find out honestly where I am in this game. Signed up for this in December, and then my girlfriend got really sick 2 months later, and all is good. Okay. So, definitely cruising on up there. We're going to follow Charlie Rudy. Looking good. And let's click on the activity. Doing some work. A lot of blue in there. So he's clearly doing some books. That's good. I think this guy is going to, he's clearly going to be going pretty fast if he's only done 13 hours and had such an amazing run of it. Look at that thing. Let's see if we get a game. Here's Charlie Rudy. So, this is, here we go. Logical chess, okay. Too much coffee, mad girlfriend, oh no. Oh, not the mad girlfriend, dude. CD5, CD4. Yeah. So the whole point of this Tarrasch opening is to have an isolated pawn. And so one of the things to see here is that, well, first of all, if you can play actually without an isolated pawn. You can play this. That's sometimes called the semi-Tarrasch opening. Totally acceptable. But the main idea is to play this way, and it's a kind of position. One of the many positions you shouldn't fear. You should be like, maybe I like one side than the other, but in principle, I don't fear it. What other things should I mention there? Carlsbad structure, French structure, King's Indian structure, Grunfeld structure. All of these things eventually we want to feel comfortable playing either side of. So right, CD4, queen takes, ambitious, e takes, bishop g5, knight c6. So first of all, you're in a little trouble, and it might be bad news anyway. Bishop f6. Knight d4. Bishop d8. Okay, interesting. By the way, I think once you play knight c6, you're kind of committed to this. Yeah, I think you're committed to this line of action. Now you play bishop f5, and that's one we want to probably critique, because the bishop is just getting slapped with knight d4. So if we think about this position for a second, if we get, let's say, a pawn for our knight, then maybe we can live through this thing. Maybe we can't get a pawn. Because the brutality of it, he's very quick to go e3 and bishop check and then snip our knight, in which case we are toast. Yeah, so we probably are done here. Now, on a practical level, we're not done yet, though. Okay, so let's keep going here. So he got everything that he wanted. Okay. And he did that to you. Definitely try king d6. Okay, that was a big mistake from white. This is actually a little bit abstruse, but it's very important. If you can trade his rook. That's a big deal because those knights can be not the most impressive people on the planet. But combined with the rook, they'd be amazing. So a much stronger move from white would be like e4, e5, start building up the pressure, uses extra pawn. Here he's technically winning, but it's not over. Now notice he just hung a pawn there. So here, what did we need to do? You need to play g6, bud. It's not, no. Here you're giving into despondency. So here you have, it's, I guess, yeah. Well, yeah, like, yeah, that's kind of scary. But notice it's kind of scary for him too. Because those knights, we don't know. It's probably toast here too. But he has to be accurate in figuring this out. Okay, so that was an example of you kind of losing your mind with CD4, and the way you were punished was development, right? Because here you are in big trouble, and I guess we're going to have to say bishop e6 was stronger, but white is definitely doing great there, right? Okay. I encourage you in your next annotation to go deeper anyways, than what you did here. Okay, great. So let's go back. Boop. And now we have Robiek, mostly worked on responses to most common openings. Okay. So 12-12, well done. Let's follow Robiek. Sounds like a Dutch name, I don't know. So dude did probably some opening stuff. He did 116th. Well, he says he did a bunch of openings. Looks like he did a bunch of endgame bows. Looked like he crushed the endgame. That's what it looks like. Dang. And just a little bit of tactics. That's rare. You see that much purple going around here. Clubs? No. Games? Here we got Robiek. All right. Let's take a look at the most recent one. I kind of want to do this one. Maybe this is an OTB game. Okay, I was correct. Our ratings are 1470 and 1520. Oh, it's an ELO-based system within the club. Okay. Let's take a look. Fine. A little frisky. Knight takes d5. Okay. Now, e4 is a mistake. Not the end of the world or anything. But it's important when you play the Catalan, i.e. developing your bishop with a fianchetto, it doesn't really make sense to play e4 if your bishop's going to be on g2. You want the scope of that beast to be working, but it will not be working if it's blocked by a pawn. So a lot of times people will intuitively want to play e4, but that's kind of one of the key tricks of the Catalan is like, no, we're not looking for e4. So better here would be bishop g2. Frisky. C takes d4 followed by bishop b4 looks a little bit more to the point or whatever you want to call it. Okay, good question. And do I know what's happening here? I don't. And here you play bishop b5. Good, and great notes, it looks like to me as well. Bishop b5 castles and so on. Whereas here, you're losing the pawn. Okay. Frisky. Well, that's, let me just say, what you're doing is you're putting some good pressure on this person. Do I know exactly what's going on? No. No, I don't. So, the bummer for black is, if I move this knight, you're going to take and snip me. Whew, that's not very nice. And if black plays bishop e6, there's this queen a4 thing. And it looks like you're just winning a piece unless they play king e7. And king e7, you know, at the minimum, you have compensation, minimum. But bishop d7 loses outright, doesn't it? Because you take. And on knight takes d3, you have knight takes f6, double check. Thank you very much. Game is over. Huh, okay. So, timeout. What happened here? I'm going to go ahead and say I'm a little surprised, but I think it's a hard life for black right now. And we needed to go a little deeper here. For example, could black survive with the move bishop d6? Maybe. Something like that is good. We got to analyze to see if there's some way for him to survive. But what's cool about what you did is, you know, maybe it happened by accident, but you got very good counterplay going on here. We could also consider the simplistic bishop e7. Just being like, you know, it doesn't work. Let's just develop. You know, we maybe take that pawn a little later, Bows. So this is cool. And now he's wasted. That doesn't impress. It's got to be good. Oh, this guy's hanging his lunch. Very nice. Okay. Very nice, man. Very nice. Okay. That was a convincing victory. So. Oh, and look what you did, Jesse. You were supposed to right-click on Robbie, and you didn't. So there's Robbie Ek doing great. All right, so let's go back. And next up is David. David's also done a lot of work, even though he doesn't say anything special about how he did it. It's okay. 1309, very nice jump. David's graduated before, clearly on a run over here. And let's go training plan. Actually, this is confusing because if I go back and look at his training plan, that's what he did. I think that's the way it works. If we go activity and then we go back one, oh, that's pretty good looking. Pretty good looking. Yeah, that's great. Oh, I like that a lot. 32 hours, 50 points. Nice. We got any clubs? UK Dojo. All right. Games. So, we got Davira here, 1985. That's oftentimes people are saying how old they are when they say 1985. Like that maybe dude's from 1985. Okay, young pup, G6, D4, CD4. So in my course, this move actually is pretty good. It is anti-intuitive, but to understand it, the key move here is Queen A4. And it's very annoying because we're about to play E5 and let's say D6, we still play E5, we got a little pressure, white's a little bit better. Is it super special? Oh, it's not super special. Okay, but you know, when both sides play good moves, we shouldn't expect to get some huge advantage. But Queen D1 isn't it. So Bishop G7, Bishop C4, you're still doing fine. E6, controversial. Let's talk about why is it controversial. Because, actually, I'll put it in historical terms. When I was a kid, I would have said, oh, E6 is bad because of the dark square weaknesses. No, that's true, but far more important is that he lost time. Dude's got a castle, and he's got to get his bishop out. So the candidate moves have to be either castles or D6. E6. Okay, we're going to develop our business. Castles, good. D5. No, you can't play chess. Can't play chess like that. Thank you. Bishop takes. Okay, bishop takes. Bishop takes b2. This guy's going to get wasted. Check to the miserable king. Check to the miserable king. Oh, that isn't it, Bows. Check to the miserable king. Checkmate. Welcome to the dojo. That's pretty good. I like that. I like that. So, bishop b2, fool's errand, needs to play something like castles. Check, check. And then here definitely do some analysis with bishop e6. I think that move to check is bishop queen d6. We're threatening mate. He cannot castle. Maybe bishop a3 is his only shot, and then we hit him with this bad boy. Whack! Checkmate! Polgar mates, my friends. David Pruess has never done the Polgar mates, so he doesn't know the power, but we see it here applied. Okay, good. Now, Davra, you're doing great, man. This is great. From the UK, 1985, and doing a lot of work. Yeah. That was looking really good. Okay. Well done, David. Now you're flying up there, dude. Look at this guy. He's flying. So, next up is Daniel, starting at next cohort. So this might be someone who just got here. I just started playing OTB, 30-year-old computer programmer. Okay? So, technically, we should say don't graduate until, it's time to graduate. But he is pretty close. Let's look at what he's done. That was kind of weird. He's 12 to 13, and he didn't. So maybe just someone who's starting out at the dojo, New York City area. Okay. Doesn't do anything. So I think this is Daniel. Welcome to the dojo, Bows. Hopefully we'll see more later. And I did it again. I was supposed to right-click, people. But I'm a boomer, I got some problems. So that was Daniel. Now we got Dan Sisti, who I remember because he's graduated multiple times before. So look at Dan Sisti, dude. Look at this game. That's very impressive. Also, what's cool is you can see he made it and then was like, you know what? I'm going to just wait to see if I stabilize at that before I hit that graduation button. Looks great. So, training plan. Actually, it's weird with the training plan because once you graduate, this is all meaningless because, but if I go back one, can I see it? Let's just go activity bows and go 13, 14. He just jumped. He actually wasn't in 13, 14. He was in, yeah, so I don't know. It looks like Dan Sisti might also be new to the dojo. Yeah, Dan Sisti is new to the dojo. Welcome to the dojo, Dan. Next up, we got De Rutas. The program is getting easier to navigate and use. Yes, thank you. By the way, we have an interesting age spread. I don't know. I think the youngest and the oldest that I know of so far using this site is we have a 9-year-old, Fire Snap, and then we have an 86-year-old, Elizabeth Shaughnessy. She just started, and right away she's complaining, dude. She's like, I can't, it's too hard for me to navigate, So hopefully she's going to get on here, man. That would be our spread, 9 to 86. Yeah, and the 9-year-old, he figured it out pretty quick, dude. The 86-year-old, it's harder. It's harder. They're not used to it. It's a delight. I struggled to find time to spar middle game positions with an equal partner, OTB. Also, I haven't remembered the game I had to, preferring miniatures from the Invisible Chess podcast. Okay. Let's click over here. Dude has done a lot of work. There's got a FIDE rating. Look at that, my friends. Look at that. This is actually the first one. The first one. I knew this would come, but there it is, this epic rating jump that dude got. Yeah, epic rating jump. Yeah. So let's think about this. By the way, he wasn't necessarily in the wrong cohort even with the jump, because you can see he was 14-10 and maybe it dipped a little bit. So, you know, this is not a ridiculous graduation. Let's follow De Rutas here. De Rutas, though, is done doing a lot of work. And if I go back one, dude did 308 hours, Bows. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, let's click around a little bit. We got some tactics, made in twos, very nice. Winning chess tactics, puzzle survival, good. Some endgame, good. Some opening, okay, good. Good, all right. Oh, you guys, we have this new thing we launched. And we actually launched it several days ago, but I haven't said anything about it because I wanted this explainer vid to come out. And so I'll post that in the chat here. So view on YouTube. That's some ad coming up for us. But in any case, boom. So there we go. That's the latest video talking about how we're doing openings. And, well, you can watch the video. I'm going to make a post on the Discord about it after I'm done with this stream. Boomer also has to do the whole announcements, too. There's a lot of things Boomer has to do. Okay, so hopefully we'll get a game here from De Rutas. We do. This looks like an OTB game. That's not too recent, though. So, the Mengarini. The Mengarini. Okay. I don't understand the Mengarini. So, G6, H4. Oh, my Lord, look at this. Good moves. You're just playing good chess here. You're doing fine. Good. Another weirdie. And now we play Knight F6. E6 makes a lot of sense. You know, makes a lot of sense. Because, and maybe your prejudice might have been to say, well, I don't want to block my bishop, but you're also blocking the scope of this bad boy here. So moving into develop piece twice. Obviously, you play A3. You have no respect for development anyway. Knight E3. B5. Well, that's a clever move. Now, about B5, I get it that bishop B5, queen A5 is your trick, but in some ways, the bishop is totally fine on A2, where he should go, right? And, I mean, E takes D5 doesn't solve any of White's problems, but notice White just has no respect for development here. Here you talk about bishop E6. To me, castles short makes a lot of sense. E6 makes a lot of sense. Because do I really want to take that knight? I don't know. Oh, this guy, dude. No respect for development. Okay. No respect for development. Weird. I prepare D5. Now, if you want to play D5, just do it right now. Right? Just do it right now. Oh my God, no respect. And now it's very important for him to try to keep the center closed because he's down so much time. But he doesn't. He's obsessed with this bad boy. Should have 100% have castled here. I lose the bishop G7, but to keep a massive lead in development. Good, I agree. Right, we definitely didn't want to do that. Now, he could have considered, well, I get it. Okay. After knight f5, I calculated to this position and felt I had an upper hand with the two monstrous bishops in the center. I pin f3, control lots of squares, and I couldn't find a good plan for white. It turns out the king e2 is well placed and bishop e3 comes fast. Okay, now I fully believe in your position here. Yeah. So bishop e3, and now you play rook f8, playing for f5. Now, nota bene, if you want to play f5, just do it. Just do it. You can get the pawn back if you want. Yeah, f5 right away actually looks pretty good. You can also do a variety of slow things too. I like that you didn't castle though, because at this stage, maybe our king wants to be out and about. So like f5 is a violent way to try to open the position. But you also could play just a basic move like king g7. King d7, excuse me. Good. Okay, big moment for us. Now, with fg4, I'm not convinced I want it yet. Because once fg4 goes down, the guy at least has a plan of bringing the knight to f2 to e4. And you have a lot of other moves to consider here, like rook c8. All right, so let's see how it goes down. King d7. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, and I don't like this. You got rook c8. You know, you're gonna pin him down. Pin him down. Oh, it looks winning, rook c8. King g1 was terrible. Because rook c1, you win the pawn with bishop b3. I mean, or he shatters his business. Okay, so you traded it all off, and now I don't know if you're winning this thing. Now, one thing that we know is that players at this level don't respect their coconuts. So, when he plays king f2, for example, the guy is still holding out hope for some kind of dastardly trick. The principled way for him to play, though, would be king e2, followed by knight f2. If he plays knight f2 immediately, then maybe that's annoying, right? So anyways, king f2, king e5, king g3 is his intention. So he's leaving his queen side just out to lunch. Good, looks lost. Good. Oh, wait a second, what happened? Oh no, Bows, wait. wait. Oh. We need to talk about this. So king d5, knight g5, knight c2, knight f7, bishop d3, knight h6, e5. Good variation, by the way, so far. I like it. This is hot. Now, this is definitely a variation to think about because dude his knight isn't necessarily fixed over here. Oh, it is ultra hot here. Oh my lord, is it hot. I'd be interested in bishop e2 here. I got a lot of questions. Oh my God, and this whole thing happened. How did this happen? This might be long variation, wrong variation. So how did this go? E5, knight f5. G5 is a big question. I don't know. And then, yeah. So that could have been a little deeper. And then here's where we need to really think about it. By the way, let me stress, this kind of position is what we want for really analyzing our business deeply here. So it might turn out that your king is misplaced on e5 because of the surprising knight g1, f3. Okay, so wait, king e5. This is interesting. King here. Oh, that is very tricky. Knights are tricky, my friend. Oh. It's funny you say simple chess. I'm like, this is the most unsimple thing I've ever seen. This is hard, dude. This is hard. This looks like an endgame study. Okay, let's talk. The reason that we should believe in our position here is because of this weakness and the fact that this knight is not really mobilized, and that our bishop is a long-range piece, and thus this knight g5 hg should not work. So does e5 win? To me, it looks very strong. And then no matter what they're doing, I'm playing e4 next. That looks crushing. And then I'll come in. And it's still a little hot, to be fair. Okay, let's look at how this went down. And now I don't know what's happening. I'm going to call that move knight b4 frisky and suggest that king f2 might be the simpler way. I don't like knight b4. All right, bishop c4 is played. We could consider king e5. We should at least do a variation. King e5. Well, we definitely should consider king f4. Ah, okay. I resign with a smile. Endgame needs work. The hallucinations need to stop, though. Okay. First of all, that endgame turned out to be much more complicated. They usually are. Like, even if they are optically winning, they will be difficult. What is the hallucination, though, that you thought that the you'd have an easy endgame after queen e7? You did have an easy endgame. You did. You did have an easy endgame. Oh, and this chump who didn't develop their pieces got someone from the dojo, dog? Yeah, we need a symbol for frisky. Okay. Well, that was a good game, man. That was a good game. So that's de Rudas. Again, I didn't right-click like a chump. All right, so there he is. And again, you guys, this is the first one where we see this epic, the epic rise going on over here. So, Kraai, would you remember, please, to right-click on the next person? So, that was de Rudas. This is Soccer Alexander. Maybe also, you guys, don't graduate until it's time. Don't graduate until it's time. His USCF is up there, so we can understand maybe. Oh, that's kind of similar. Okay. Okay, we'll go back one. Dude has done a lot of work. A lot of middle games of strategy. Basically what that shows is that dude spent a lot of time reading these books, which is great. Okay. And did some endgame, looking good. Yeah, that looks great. Clubs, Austin Dojo over there with Nose Knows All and Jack Stingray. Nice. Nice. Okay. Let's look at Soccer Alexander over here. The opponent has no idea what to do. Now, what's interesting about this position is black is already in a really bad way. Especially because it's not easy to play e6. If they could play e6, it'd be a little easier. No, they're already in a really bad way. This position, in fact, yeah, it's a real problem. In fact, I would say this is one of the positions where I remember having positions like it a lot in Blitz as a kid, and I thought it was just better for white, and now with the discussion of space, and it seems lost. And there's a position in the Gelfand book where he talks about space that's actually derived from Simple Chess by Steen, and it's very similar to this position, and Gelfand's just like, yeah, boss, this is gone. This is gone. Okay, so knight b6, good move. And now you go for it with g4. Now, the simplistic move would be like queen d2. Knight e5, knight d2. Excellent note. Excellent note, by the way. Really good note. And that's the kind of little insight. If you can gain that insight, you know, you're doing great. It's hard to play with space. Knight d2 is a great example of no, we do not trade. So great note. And now you push it here with f5. This position is not necessarily easy to play, even if we think that you're doing great. Because we don't know where your king wants to go yet. And you are exposed. You are exposed. So you should write a little bit more about what you think the plan is. So I think you're writing queen d2, makes sense. But I don't think this position here it's not simple anymore. For example, queen d2, oh, he's got a bunch of arrows going on. e6, and then black will be able to, you know, if you castle, there's queen h4. If you castle long, there's always going to be drama, right? So f5, I agree with you, f5's too much. e6, good move. Maybe queen h4 is a thing. You decide it is, and you play h4. It's not actually a thing, though, is it? Because you have bishop f2. And now queen e8, which is a little weird to me. Why not just ef? And then some kind of rook e8. Black's ahead 1,000 developing moves. All right, queen e5 is played now. I'm not sure I get it. Now we definitely need some variations here. One point is here, 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 and it looks, let's say, good for white. It's not over yet, though, because like queen d4. Not over yet. But okay. GF makes a lot of sense to me. Queen e8 was weird. Knight a4 makes some sense to me. And there, if bishop b5, we have bishop takes c3 as an intermezzo. This is the key position. This is something we got to look at. Bishop f4, I don't get it because of queen d4. Dude plays queen f6. I don't understand that. And g5 looks like a very good move. Yeah, that's right. And I think, let me just go ahead and throw something out there, that what you're doing is you are obsessing over attacking rather than her other problems, which are space. And when you have space, like you do here, oftentimes your opponent has bad pieces, like these two guys. But instead, you're obsessing over the king. Okay. You could still do your g5 thing. Now you do it. And then she makes the judgment call to hack. Okay. You should be winning. Okay, F1. Bishop D7. And now you play bishop G5. Bishop G5, maybe, but why wouldn't we play bishop G3? And then we have a simple threat on this pawn. You will get better if you annotate these positions. And then we blunder here with bishop E5. She misses it. But notice with bishop E5, it's not just a blunder because bishop takes C3, but also because the way it goes down, black gets to soften your whole position, right? So you should do a note here. And in the game, too, you should have been like, wait, bishop E5 doesn't make any sense. And probably a move like bishop D3. If not bishop D3, then we should consider going back with bishop F4. You kind of break. And then we get this thing. And you need to do some notes here. This is complicated. And instead of bishop F4, I want to talk about knight E4. And here for sure, I think G5. Because black wants to start running these bad boys, so let's play G5. That doesn't make much sense to me. And you play A3. Okay. So she is making an argument about knight B7, rook B4. B3 is also reasonable to think about. I guess I'd prefer B3. I missed the obvious rook F7. The rest is straightforward for black. One of the things I want you to see is these moves where you're saying like, oh, I'm missing something. You don't have any idea what to do. You made fun of your opponent earlier. And I want to stress, it's okay not to know. But the thing is, when you go over your game, that's the point where we really got to figure it out. Like right now, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Let me just check something. Yeah, it looks like the clocks were, I don't know, maybe it was a over the board game. So this would be an interesting position to analyze. It's not something where I could immediately tell you who's better here. It's a hot position. And the first thing I would want to do is say, analyze bishop b8. Let's say a6. On a5, we have knight c7, or excuse me, bishop c7, and we'll win that pawn. Knight c7. And it looks like you're winning some coconut. If you can win one of those coconuts, buddy, you know, that's what we need to do. We need to win one of those coconuts. Then we're in on the business, right? So knight c3, rook f7. And let's talk about this is definitely a little bit of it's very much a cold shower now. Because if we play rook f2, there's the bishop d4. I want you to see this came about through planlessness, not because you missed this rook f7 tactic. That's a bummer, though. Okay. True. Good final note. If you can sack the knight for all those pawns, it is a draw. In fact, there's a parts of black, the way black played it, I don't like. And here, that should be our first move. And black is going to have to start playing dynamically. What do I mean? They're just sitting around over here before, but now they have to start running over. Let you have the pawn and then persecute your knight. It's winning, but you can still mess around a little bit. Okay, pretty good notes. Obviously, you could go deeper. I feel the despondency in these notes, Soccer Alexander. You know what I'm saying? Like I can feel your despondency, right? Okay, and notice here, she is disrespecting her king. Well, kind of, but in fact, it's all about space, right? And that's one of the things that's very hard for players to learn how to do. And, it's something you can get better at. Okay, great. That was a hard game. We're getting to higher cohorts a little bit. The mistakes are a little bit more subtle now. A little bit more, there's a little psychological in there too. So now we got Simon's HB. Look at that braiding graph, dude. Welcome to the dojo. We got some activity. Let's go down one. And they are just crushing endgame style over here. They are doing the endgame style. Clubs? No clubs. No games. Well, Simon is just committed to following the endgame path. Well, let's just say it's at least working for him, right? Oh, all right. Oh, Kraai, you were supposed to right-click and you didn't right-click. Okay, it's okay. Let yourself go, buddy. Let yourself go. Next up, we have John doing an incredible amount of work. Boom. Let's see what we got. Yeah, very nice progress. I'll follow John here. It's hard, dude. It's hard to make progress over here. Yeah. And 56 is a good number. Okay, so activity. And we're going to go back one. Dude did a lot of work. We're probably going to see some games. Clubs, the SoCal Dojo. All right, good. I knew a guy who was about 1900 named John Funderburg in SoCal. Maybe you know him. He grew up in New Mexico with me and then moved to San Diego. I hung out at his place once at a tournament. Really nice guy. Here we go. Boom. I don't know if he's still playing chess. So. Weird. That person wasn't off base. Now, I'm a little resistant. I'm very resistant to taking that thing. Because now that we developed this piece. Okay, I do feel that black at least has some claim to some compensation. I don't know if I understand knight bd2. Like, why aren't we playing knight c3? Also doesn't seem right. Yeah, I think bishop e5, knight d5 is safer. Okay, because here, at least the guy could have considered some drama against you. I don't know if it works, but he could consider some drama. What is happening here to my life? Oh, well, I don't see the way anything drama works. They close their eyes and launch, yeah. So in that sense, c3 seems slow. I didn't like knight e5. But if it's going to work, we have to consider some kind of madness here. In any case, it looks like you're holding. I would have wanted to do bishop e5 just so I wouldn't have to think about the madness. Good. Okay. Simple chess. Now he does it. I thought there was the moment earlier, but now I don't think it does anything. That's not it. Okay. Here would be a great moment to say how long you spent on this move, right? And one of the things to see about this kind of player is that, you know, it is a little difficult. You're going to reach some moment like this, and you're going to have to figure it out. Okay. So you looked at bishop g4, rook e7, b5, knight f8. And you say b5 is maybe the best line. What is weird about b5, though, is if dude plays bishop b3, what is your follow-up? Right? Okay, I've got a simplicissimus. How about we play knight b6, tag the bishop, and if the bishop goes back, then we play here, and they've got absolutely nothing. So on knight b6, I don't know what they're supposed to do about it. I think it's gone. If rook f5, we can patiently play knight takes c4. Thank you very much. So, nota bene, you will play this kind of player again. You will be put in a little bit of heat. When you analyze the game, that's when you want to find knight b6. It wouldn't surprise me if there's another move besides knight b6, right? In fact, like, maybe you can even play that move. That's what you did, sorry. No, that doesn't work, right? Yeah, I fell for it too. Anyways, what do I say? You have to put in your time, how much you spent, and then look at it intensely afterwards, right? Okay, so knight d5, pop, pop. Now, let's say something obvious. Okay, yeah, you got to take. Boom, boom, boom. Now you go a little crazy, and you get out of dodge, and he takes, and you played ef5. Probably okay. Okay. Bishop d6, queen f5, knight f6, bishop g5. Okay. So here's our interesting question. Are we host? We're host, right? We're host. Oh, bummer, bummer, bummer. So it all came down to that moment. Yeah. When you play the madness people, I've played these people all the time. You got to believe in your position, then you really got to check everything thoroughly, right? And they are, imagine, you know, I've played some very strong attacking players, and it'll be more sound than this guy, but they also will kind of be flying by the seat of their pants too. They don't necessarily know, right? And this guy didn't know either. He's just going for it. And in a way, I kind of respect him. He needed to go for it. I thought a thing I was looking at forever was in this position, some kind of rook f5 followed by knight f7, which is honestly very similar business. Very similar business. Both of them, I think, are either winning for you or better. I played Emery a bunch. Yeah, Emery was, a good example of somebody who was an attacking player and oftentimes could put some hurt on you. I never lost, thank you. We hadn't played him that many times, though. Okay, so good, John, you're doing great. Let's see, let's go back. I also want to commend you that 9 games, that's looking pretty good. And the rating's looking great, Okay, so looking good, and we'll close these out. And we'll go back over here to the Evans Gambit. Maybe we're getting an Evans Gambit going on over here. I'm going to right-click this. So, I don't know. Now, this sometimes confuses me here because when it says 1468, I'm like, Bouse, have you really graduated yet? I don't know, Bouse. I don't know. I'm confused. Well, it looks like we don't have any games either. Okay, so Evans Gambit, All right, so let's go back. Next up, we have Ramheiser. The dojo experience has been amazing so far. I've been the type of player who didn't take tactics that seriously. I did my puzzles here and there, but strategy is what matters, so I thought. Since I started working through the Polgar puzzles as well as the other puzzle books, wait, let me read it. As well as the other puzzle books, I haven't been tracking consistently via the dojo. Side note, not quite clear to me where exactly I'm supposed to log that time. In the non-dojo time. We have a thing called the non-dojo time where you can log it. I'm constantly on the search for tactics. It's a shift in mindset. And what's crazy is that I'm seeing them repeatedly now. I also want to thank the dojo for adding structure to my improvement. Before, I felt overwhelmed with all the book recommendations out there. It's been liberating to focus on what matters. Side note, as I said above, I haven't been logging my time spent on non-dojo tactics books, woodpecker and the like. Maybe I'm just missing where to log my time spent. Okay, actually, let me just give a little spiel here. So today, in this, hi Alex, in this YouTube video, which I'm posting here, I talk about how we changed how we score openings, okay? And one of the cool things about that is, well, first of all, let's just say what it is. Instead of it being like how much is your file complete and how much have you memorized it, which was very subjective, we just do it by hours. And then we tell you how many hours to do of opening study. An opening study in general, the reason you can do it by hours, it's a lot less sweat work than a lot of the other things. Other things, you have to conquer it. In opening study, you just need to put in the time and be thinking about it. But the longer term dream is that, let's say you want to do your own program and you just have the buckets of, say, strategy, tactics, and yada yada, that we can allow you to make your own program. Now, I don't know if that's quite what's going on here, but let me stress with Ramheiser, I'll show him how to do this here, is if we go training program and we just go non-dojo, he's done it, actually, well, no, he hasn't done it. You just click here on tactics and you would put, not time to tactics. How would you do? You click here and you'd update progress. And it's going to my thing, but this is how he would do it. And he could also give say what it was. Yeah. And that maybe will make it a little bit easier. I love how we say shame here. Maybe we'll take away the shame. All right, let's follow Ramheiser. Activity. And we'll go back one. He's doing his non-dojo time. A lot of hours. Good. Looks like he's not doing any game analysis. Let's click around a little bit. Tactics. He's got the made in 2 big time. Good. And then middle game strategy. Good. And then the end game. Good. All right. Clubs? No. Games? No. Ooh, Ramheiser. Buddy, I know you're on the tactics, bud. I know you're onto it. But this is where we need you to do some stuff. Also, maybe I'll say something coherent. I don't always say something coherent. I might not even speak properly. But, I would look at one of your games if you put it in. All right, here we go. Kraai, you were supposed to right-click on it, but I'm bad. The tech, I'm not necessarily the best with the tech, but that's been known for a while. So, that was Romheiser. Next up, we have Rasul. Rasul has graduated a bunch, and Rasul is in the wrong cohort. Marathon Man. Now, maybe they did it based on their FIDE. I don't know. Look at that. Bang! Bang! Oh, buddy. Now, I don't know what to say. Yeah. If they switched it to FIDE or something. All right, so let's leave Rasul. And then we'll go to Marc Galichet. All right. French, live in Metz, but I come from the center of Paris. Nice. Mr. Pruess is over there in Paris having his, not in Paris, but in France, having his Normandy rainy. He's actually in Spain right now. They had to take a vacation. They couldn't take it anymore. They have a French dude. They're always on vacation. Yeah. Okay. So, activity. We'll go back one. 106 hours, looking great, except there's no games or games analysis. Let's click around. That looks really good. 1470, that's right before it gets super hard. And let's go middle game strategy, looking good. Okay. End games, looking good. Okay. So I suspect we're not going to have any games here. No. Any clubs? French Dojo. Nice. Okay, that's looking great. So, Mark, dude, well, I guess what we're also going to say is this is a person who's graduating based on the new FIDE ratings. And, we're kind of telling people, wait a little while, but it's probably, it's going to stabilize as just a higher rating because everybody's getting the boost. And by the way, if you didn't get a FIDE boost, and let's say you're doing USCF or something else, you're probably going to get a boost anyway because we're going to align the ratings on the new FIDE rating. I think that's kind of like what we're doing. And that will be, hopefully by May 1st, we're going to have that, let's call it a stats game figured out. Okay, so that was Mark. Quinn, who is in the chat, graduates. That's really cool. So let's read. Playing longer time controls and reviewing my games was a big help. The recommendation for Evaluate Like a GM was useful as well, although I'm still working my way through the book. My USCF rating shows that it went down, but it'll be up to 1495 next month. My most recent tournament wasn't counted yet. It's lagging behind my other ratings. I went 2-2 in an under 1800 section for a performance rating of 1635. Nice. I felt I put up a good fight against people rated 1750-ish, including a victory. Please review my loss as black against the 1788. Okay. So, same mistakes as Kappa versus Bob, so I'm not ashamed. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Gwen's in the chat. Might have to leave for a meeting in a second, but I'm going to properly click on the right. And, so Chess.com Rapid up there. There's the USCF. It's going to go up to 1495 after the recent tournament. And now let's just click around. Go back one. He's not logging his time. Not the only person. I get it. Okay. And then, so there was a game from 225. It's got to be this one. I said, yeah, it's got to be this one, right? Let me make sure. Against the 1788 from 225. Hold on. It's got to be this one, though, right? This says 1720. Let's just go back a second. 225. Oh, wait. 1788. This one. Good. F3. Right. D5. Good. A3. Snip. Snap. Castles. C takes. E takes. E3. Okay, very very intense position. Yeah, very intense position. And the George Washington Open. Okay, that's kind of my neighborhood. I think that's down in like DC area. So this is a very hot position. And I would say C5 or B6 are probably the main moves. It looks obscene at first, but White has a very simple plan of bishop d3, knight e2, and either e4 or then g4 even. And the point is your knight on f6 is a chump. It might not be obvious at first, but he's a chump. And rook e8, the challenge with rook e8 is it might not be doing anything, and later your f7 square might need help. But it's a very natural move, so I'm not going to say anything bad about it. And here you do this. And in general, I don't feel your play has been terrible. Yeah. Bishop b2, and now you went for it with c4. Now, by the way, I don't know about bishop b2. I'm pretty sure bishop b2 is not correct. This is a very hot position. So first question after they play bishop b2, are we truly terrified of c4? I don't know. And didn't bishop b2 just neglect the fact that queen e7 is really annoying? Wait a second here. c4. You played knight c6. If you play queen e7, he's got to play bishop c1. Also here, dude's got to play bishop c1. Bishop b2 wasn't it, moms? What are we doing? What are we doing? So, let me just say, I think this is the right move. And on knight c6, correctamundo, we want to try to get something going. White has a bunch of different options. A typical move in this position for White would be rook a2, intending to use it on that rank, and claiming the bishop is developed where it is. Okay, so here we go. Bishop b2. I don't know about c4. And now your knight's a chump. Okay? So, however, it wasn't until later that I figured out this was a bad plan because it doesn't keep an eye on the e4 square and the whole game revolves around e4. Okay, now, true, but also your knight is such a terrible piece there on b3. And then this move, h5, is very hard to believe because you're playing then on White's side of the board. However, is it already difficult? Yeah, it's already a little difficult. It's already a little difficult. Very hard to find a plan. You are not the first person to have this kind of grief, right? Yeah, and the Capablanca Botvinnik game is a great, actually, point of reference. So this doesn't help. Bishop c1, I don't like that move. Because they're just letting you chop. They're letting you chop. That knight wasn't doing anything over there. So, the thematic move, I guess, would be e5 here. Chop that thing. What are we doing? Take it. Check. e5. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to do that, why not play rook h8 immediately? Knight g4. Okay, here's an important question. Could dude have played f4? I'm not sure. Let's just check. No, because you can take and then queen g5. Okay. So, knight g4. Okay, chained. f4 makes sense. Knight g3. Now you're you're confusing him. Yeah. By the way, knight g3, that's a good practical attempt because you are toast no matter what. And, you know, at least you're scaring him to death. And now knight e4. Because now with knight f5, well, you're kind of, it's not over by any means. Now it's probably over, huh? Uh-oh. Dang. Yep. You are not the first person to lose like this. So I want to say this is a really great experience for you. I know losing isn't fun. But to have a feel for this kind of position. And it's really interesting. In fact, let me mix it up a little bit. I'm pretty sure this is how game 8 of Carlsen Anand went, or excuse me, Anand Carlsen. Anand was white. And it's a game Anand probably should have won. And it featured this stunning thing. It's stunning when, well, the first time I saw it, I was doing commentary. So knight e2, I forgot, it was either knight c6 or castles. And then Anand played g4. It's a just beautiful strategic move where we're going to be playing bishop g2. We're going to castle. And then when we're ready, we'll play g5 and then e4. And what's the point? In the game, in your game, dude got to play bishop d3. And here c4 is denying that opportunity. So Anand switched it up and played knight e2, g4, bishop g2. Beautiful. And the game's very rich. And, you know, Carlsen played b5, a5. For me, one of the great World Championship games. There's an amazing tactic at the end that Carlsen saves himself by. Anyways, a great game to look at. You could play other systems against this f3 stuff, of course, right? But in any case, this is a nice one to know about, just the feel of this structure. So, Mariko plays chess. Hello. All right, let's go back. That was Quinn, and Quinn is crushing it. Has it got clubs? Chess dads and moms. Oh, wait a second. I'm a chess dad, dude. Kevin's over there. We get to see who has kids over here. Look at all these people. Look at all these people, dude. I'm going to join the club. I'll join the club, yeah. All right, that's a hilarious picture. All right, let's go over here. Next up, we got Jober Karak. I don't know how to say that correctly. Let's click. And we'll 1761. Nice, great picture. And the FIDE just got a boost. He just got a boost. So he went from 1565 to 1761. You know, so as I suspected, we're having people using this boost to graduate. I'm not hating on it because I do feel like eventually it's going to happen anyway. Everybody's going to get a little bit of a boost. Okay, so games, no games, activity. He's been doing a little bit of tactics. He's got some clubs? No. So maybe he's just kind of new to the dojo. You know, actually not new to the dojo. He's been around here forever, but hasn't maybe been logging all of his stuff. He just got that rating and was like, bows, let's go. Let's go. All right. Congratulations on the boost. Next up, we have Wilchis. And Wilchis is up there. Let's follow Wilchis. We got some activity. We'll go back one, done 21 hours, mostly tactics. What do we got? The mates in 2, looking good. Okay, we got some clubs? No. Games? No. All right, so that's Wilches. Wilches, we want to see some games, bows. We want to know what you're doing. Next up, we have Jack. The game annotations tool with the clock is fantastic. I like it too. For some reason, usually the scoreboard for those who have graduated isn't popping up for me. Usually the scoreboard for those who have graduated. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Anyone know what he means? Here's Jack. Quinn, thank you for being here. So here's Jack. Their FIDE just bumped up amazingly. I guess, yeah. 1840, it is, boom. So, follow Jack. I guess we could say this was done on the basis of the FIDE. Games. We're going to look at those games. Activity. We're going to back it up one. He's doing some good work. Okay. 60 hours. It's not chump change. Mostly games and analysis. So let's go take a look. This is Andy Grube against our friend here. Round 6 of the Minnesota Open. So far, so good. Do I understand Bishop E3? No. I definitely think Bishop E3 is wrong. So Knight G4, Bishop G5, F6, Bishop D2, F5. Well done. That is the spirit of the opening, right? Yeah. And white is just messing around. They don't have an idea. And now white has a critical decision to make. What do? They go back, Bishop F6. Yeah, this is an interesting question for you, honestly. So it's technically your bad bishop. So it can't be a bad decision. And on knight f6, we have to be a little concerned about knight d5. Because then we can't play h6 next. Still, knight f6 is also a nice position for you. All right, bishop f6 can't be bad. They take. Knight takes. Knight e7. I don't know if I like it. My idea behind this was knight h5 and f4. I definitely think the move you should consider here is f4. This is a very thematic King's Indian thing. So, for example, gf, which is probably what you wanted, or you were maybe afraid of, then we go pap. Now, first of all, I just want to say I'm not entirely sure it works yet, but it looks great. And the intention is now our knight gets this square. And here we have two moves to consider. DE, the simplistic DE, or knight f4. And obviously on knight f4, we're making a stronger claim. Here we're just claiming long-term compensation because we're going to get this nice knight here. So knight f4, let's just see for a second. Takes. Well, it's hot. It's definitely hot, boss. I got knight g2 followed by bishop h3. I got pawn takes pawn followed by like a knight e5. This knight he's angry. It's a really angry piece. So f4 looks like a strong alternative for us to consider. Knight e7 feels slow. Yeah. Maybe rook a d1. This feels slow. Rook fu1. Good. Now, you've set yourself up, I want to stress, you've set yourself up for this kind of thing because you took forever. And now, because we have a different kind of King's Indian structure, namely the pawn is not here, he's able to open the position in the center. And so unless you have something amazing here, you're probably in a little bit of trouble. You talk about bishop f5. Yeah, maybe rook h4. Yeah, it's scary too. Okay, so I think we should say white is doing great. Knight f5. And now knight e6 happens. Okay, to me, knight e6 looks like the move of somebody who is obsessed with the bishop, right? So you talk about c4. I would want to analyze rook here and just ask, how are you going to prevent me from playing an eventual rook e7? Maybe there's some way, but to me, oh buddy, it looks scary. Maybe it could go like this. d5, rook e5, bishop d7. Because you got to get your pieces out. Knight f5. If bishop f5, rook e7, we're going to say that's lost. So rook f5, this looks terrible, right? Maybe rook f7. And now we're really worried about some welcome to the dojo kind of things here. Well, there's a magnitude of pain here. There's bishop h3. There's rook, yeah. No, this is toast. This is toast. Okay, so this is a very common kind of mistake where they get obsessed and they aren't thinking clearly because they just love the bishop so much. Now you're alive, and now the bishop on g2 needs to figure its life out. Okay, g4 definitely a mistake. He said in the postmortem that he forgot I could just play knight g7. Okay, so we're saying that knight h4, you're toast after rook e8? I guess that's got to be the claim, huh? Okay, it looks unpleasant. Okay, so is it really? It's not even true, though, is it? I mean, knight g7, don't get me wrong, I don't know if there's anything wrong with it. Well, if we can play knight h4, I want to play knight h4, Bobs. No, it does not work for us. I get it. This is his evil intention, is that now he has queen h6 check. Okay. One thing that is important to see here is that he is not thinking clearly about fixing his bishop. So this move looks strong. Right? That move looks strong. By the way, let's go back just a second. And a move to analyze is rook f7. Now I get it. You could say, oh, aren't I losing the pawn? Well, maybe you are. But I just want to look at it because white is giving you some juice. Over here, maybe this move, for example. Now, why would we look? Because then in this position, that's really scary to me, this whole thing, because your knight doesn't have any active squares. And then bishop h3, it's a rough life. For example, here, and what are you going to do? If you take with a rook, there's this bad boy. Maybe it's not over, Jesse. Maybe I have to shut up. It wouldn't be the first time. Anyways, that's a good variation for us to be thinking about too. Whew, man. Yeah. All right. So maybe d5 rook f7 is fine. Maybe that c4 move also, maybe. Yeah, c4, sure. Yeah, he was obsessed with the bishop. In any case, the rook de1 looked even stronger to me. So, pop, 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 pop. g4, knight g7. Good. Looks like they're playing for tricks. And you like a4. Now, let's say the obvious. Here, you need to find a way to fix your knight, right? I don't know about a5, a6. I don't think it's actually doing much. But the move for us, I believe, is going to be knight e8, because we got to fix it. And then we'll bring it to that nice square, or to that one, depending. I like black here. Thank you very much. And you just said, give me all your coconuts, Bows. Good. You're holding it together nicely. Nice. Oh, you can't play chess like that. What are you doing? What is this guy doing? Probably got to be good. Thank you very much. Rook g5, to me, knight rook c4 looks a little bit more intuitive. Can't be bad. Wait, why did we give up our business, dude? Because you're winning the piece, buddy. Yeah, now you're crushing. Okay, let's see the technique. Looks good. Run, Forrest, run. There we go. There we go. There we go. Ah, looks great. He never resigned. He played till mate and won. Nice. I need to be more mindful of my opponent's key pawn breaks in the opening. Here it was d3, d4. Gained 20-something points and just barely moved into the 1700, 1800 cohort. Okay, good. And I think that f4 move, that was a good one. That was a good one you could analyze. One of the things about that f4 move, too, this was over here, is it's the kind of thing that whatever the computer says, it's probably still the right move, because you want to open your bishop, you want to open the rook, you want that f4 square for your knight. And gf, you'd have to have balls of steel to play gf, the big ones, the really, really big ones. Okay, so here we go. Let's go back. That was Jack. Now we have self-faith. Let's see what's going on with self-faith. Self-faith got a huge boost. Huge boost. Yeah, okay. Okay. So, activity. If I remember right, self-faith isn't logging any of their stuff. No, here they are. What are you saying, buddy? Gotta log in. Maybe games? We have games? We got loads of games from self-faith. What are you saying, buddy? Clubs? Okay, cool, man. In Mexico. Nice. Okay, so wait a second. Self-faith is doing the work, and they went just mammothly up. They went mammothly up. Look at this. Oh, this FIDE thing is just too much, man. I don't know, actually, did they get a new rating, or how did it happen? Because, right, this isn't the normal boost. This went from 0 to 60 in half a second. All right, let's go look. So, boom. 7 rounds of a 90-30 tournament. This should be too definitely weird. Looks good to me. Looks good to me. Looks good to me. I anticipated this position. My pawns are weak, but white has no easy path to attack. Plus, I have the center and open files for my pieces. Okay, good. Now, I would feel a little bit nervous about saying that I was clearly better here, but I appreciate that black has some nice dynamic possibilities. H5 is a nice move. Okay. Castle's long, and then bishop h6, bishop d6, and you like bishop h6. Yeah, for sure. We'll put him back in his bogs. Put him back in his bogs, boss. Here you went for it. Oh, no fear. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's getting spicy. Yeah, I like what you're saying about b takes c4. Uh-huh. Good. Bishop d5, g3, h4, and now dude plays knight takes c4. One cool thing about this game is he had his chance in this position to go for it with b takes c4. And is that easy to like figure out exactly what's going on? No, no. But if he doesn't do it, right, he is going to lose the initiative. One thing, actually, I think you're right that maybe we just take back that way. And it looks like you're still on the path. Mm-hmm. I went that little phase a little quickly here. So let's go to where you said it was clearly better. Queen d2 is probably wrong, and he should just castle like a normal person, right? Yeah, so this is funky. Bishop d6, you still have a nice position. Now, he needs a good move, and maybe d4 pronto is what we need. So that if cd, we have knight b5. And it's still pretty loose, but at least he's getting some squares for his pieces. Okay, so here we go. a4. Bishop d5. h4. He snips, is no fear. And now it would seem to be that hg3 is crushing. Let's see what you say. hg3, but I get it. I get it. So that's why he's saying hg3 first instead of second, because there's the knight b6 check. And he means queen h3, but we get it. Well, we're not done yet, Baus. We got to do some more analysis here. In fact, Mr. Baus, isn't it the end of the world if we go, well, I don't know, actually. Let's look. Here. What's happening, Jesse? He's got to take with a rook. Queen, pawn. Now, if we have to play queen c8 anyway, then this is not what we wanted. So with queen c8, does he have a defense to rook g1? He might. I don't know. Not so easy. Maybe. No, it's not so easy. Holy moly. Maybe knight f. I don't know, man. That's truly next level. I was just looking at this craziness. Knight f4. Maybe knight f4, because on queen g4, maybe we can do that to him. No, Baus. Check. Mate. 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 So yeah, let's continue the analysis. I don't know what's happening here. This is the real deal. Whew. Yeah, he deserves to be lost too. Do I understand this? I'm not sure. So I guess the thought is, if here he wants this, and then we want to take with check if I scooch it. Oh, my mind is already fried here. Boom. Dang. And now you're doing great. Yeah, okay. Yeah, now you're winning. Something terrible happens? Something terrible happens, Bose? Oh, no. Okay, so now a terrible thing could have happened here. Whoomp, 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 whoomp. Oh, man, you got lucky, Bose. It looks like he's saying that time, yeah, he didn't have any time left. So this is all understandable. His opponent maybe doesn't also have any time left. Dang, that must have hurt him. Check to the miserable king. And then we could play queen f3, but okay. This won't be a game that I can show off, but it gives me great lessons that I hope to put in practice next tournament. Queen f3 wins quicker. That was a great annotation. That was a great annotation. Yeah, definitely things we could have looked at more. And I think this is an interesting evaluation. We can almost guarantee, right, that your opponent thought he was crushing you because of the pawns. Yeah, but definitely we'd like to be black. Okay, that was really good, man. I like that. So that's self-faith. Self-faith got the, I don't know what was going on with self-faith in the rating, but he's crushing. Oh, we got another FIDE boost. See, that's why we had to split the graduations into 2 graduations. We knew people were going to get some FIDE boosts. So, 1025, man, and then, I don't know, man, I don't know. Okay, here we go. Activity, nothing's going on over here in the activity. Oh, he's on some things. Well, wait, because you got to, yeah, games? No, clubs? No, this is R. This is R. So we had some FIDE boosts today, my friends. Some FIDE boosts. Now we got Leo. This might also be a FIDE boost. Let's see. That's a FIDE boost. Oh, man, the FIDE boosters. Okay, now go back one, Jesse. So, done some tactics and stuff. Not too much. Clubs? European Chess Dojo, French, okay. And then we go games. And this is Leo Joubert. No, let's just see if there's one where he actually does some work on the annotations. This says to be added. Leo Joubert. He's just bringing in all this stuff. Maybe this could be like, there's a way to import your Lichess files, you know? And that's might be what happened here. Okay, you guys, let's pause it there. We'll be back next week, and I think I like what we're doing. We'll have one graduation on Wednesday for the sub 1,000, and then the next one on Thursday for the 1,000 plus. Now, my friends, we're going to raid somebody. Who are we going to raid? Oh, there's so many people, dude. So many people. Let's raid Freya Chess. I always like to rate people I don't know anything about. This is Freya Chess. Say hi. And oh man, there's so much work to do in the dojo. So much work to get done. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.